wound never builds just one strategy. We usually spot a wound through the pattern that is attached to it. But a wound doesn't normally just build one defense, it often builds several, which means that patterns you never think to connect can be feeding from the same root. Some of those defensive strategies are almost impossible to see. Why? Not because they're hidden, but because they're praised. A strategy the culture rewards doesn't look like a wound. It looks like a virtue. And you don't question the thing that people keep praising you for. I know that one from the inside. My fear of being seen traces back to a report card at 5 where I got needs improvement for talking too much in class and I got in trouble for it. So I adapted and I stopped talking. That's the obvious strategy to staying unseen. Stay quiet. The one I missed was the perfectionist. Same wound, same 5-year-old. If I'm perfect, I don't get into trouble. It took me a long time to spot this one because in our culture, perfectionism often gets applause. And that's the trap. A praised strategy can't be found by looking for it. Reflection isn't going to catch it because nothing in your life ever flagged it as a problem. It only shows itself when something comes up against it. Here's how you find the hidden one. Take action towards the wound and counter to the pattern, and then watch for friction. We don't find the second, more hidden strategy by thinking about it. It only shows up when we move, because some strategies are only visible when they're obstructed. So in my example, counter to my pattern of stay quiet, I decided to get on camera. Simple plan, right? I was going to say what I intended to say in one take. Except I couldn't do it in one take. I'd have to do 20, 50. And then I ended up exhausted and the video sat on my phone unposted because it wasn't good enough. Here's what was actually happening. I had effectively blocked the first strategy. Stay quiet had been taken off the table. I was on camera. So the system reached for the other one. Be perfect. 50 takes wasn't a separate problem. It was the second strategy surfacing because I had taken the first one away. That friction was the information. It wasn't failure. It was a young part of me still doing her job saying, look again. There's more here. And when you look again, check the doors you didn't check before. I told myself the being seen wound wasn't heavily reinforced because I couldn't find many moments where a group had gone wrong. I was looking in the wrong place. When I brought home less than perfect, I ended up grounded, put on restriction, which meant no friends and no phone, cut off. So every time I failed at perfect, I was taught the other lesson too. Being seen as flawed subtracts people. It wasn't expressing through just one door, stay quiet, to avoid getting into trouble. It had also adopted another belief, less than perfect subtracts people from your life. Now the part that matters most, seeing the pattern, tracking the event, and characterizing the wound is maybe 20%. Action is the other 80. Action is how we integrate a new pattern, a new belief, a new behavior. Integration is what I call the long middle because it is slow, it is nonlinear, and it is messy. You're building a new pathway right beside a deep, well-worn one that still feels comfortable, familiar, and safe, which is exactly why the perfectionist shows up hardest right here in the long middle. Integration is the messiest step of all, and the perfectionist guards against mess. So she arrives precisely when you start doing the thing that would free you. Her showing up doesn't mean stop. It means change the strategy. One take is not a small step for a perfectionist. So I gave myself permission to do 10 and permission to edit. The point is to get something out there, seen, even if it's imperfect. Next time, maybe I'll do it in 8 or 5. What's a wound you carry that has more than one survival strategy wrapped around it?